Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Um, you'll see I posted a short earlier about the residential property price index from Stats SA. We're quickly just gonna go and grab that. So like I said, you can go to just publications and search P0160. I'm just gonna do like a high level, what are we looking at here? Then you quickly just download it. Okay, so it came out on the 10th of April, but it speaks to the year ended November 2024, right? So there's a bit of a lag there. Then they tell you here it's by national at a national level and at a provincial level, and then with an index, the actual index numbers, and then the base is December 2020, and then you've got basically all of those tables. It's quite a short report, easy to go into. So these are the key findings, which I think I touched on in the short. Check that out. And then this is what we want to look at. So this is by a nation or at a national level. Western Cape contributes about 34%, and then Gauteng contributes about 40%. That's not a surprise, right? Those are the powerhouses of South Africa. So together, those are about 75% in terms of the weight. And then you've got Natal that contributes 11%. So already you're at 85%. And then the Eastern Cape, Agasham, 5%. And then you've got the rest, right? What they're showing here is that nationally it went up 4.9% year on year. What this basically means is that if you bought a house, I recognize that I should have maybe started there. If you bought a house in November 2023 with 100,000, right? 100,000, you're buying a house. It means that the following year, the same house, let's say bar anything, so ceteris paribus, you've held everything else constant. You haven't made any modifications, nothing has changed in your area. That house that was valued at 100,000 in November 2023, in November 2024, that house was worth 104,900 at a national level, right? But it says if your house was in the Western Cape, it would be up from 100,000 to 108,000. Am I right in saying that? Yeah, it would be worth 108,500. Eastern Cape would be 103,600. Do you understand? So the bigger the number, the higher the value of the house in that annual period. That's basically what we're seeing here. I love a good chart. This isn't it, but like I love a good chart. Stats say this is blurry. Stats say this is also blurry. These are basically the contributors, right? Positive contributors to the month on month. So it was 0.4 in total, 0.2 of that came from the Western Cape, 0.1 from a Gauteng, and 0.1 residual. I mean, you're adding things up. There's always going to be an error term. And then these are the actual index numbers, and not particularly, interesting. Then, so this is the rate going up, 7.5% over time. That's what you're seeing. So the base is sort of COVID. So you're not going to really see the COVID effect, if we're being honest. We're not really going to pick that up because the base is sort of, this was Jan 2019. If it was longer, you could sort of maybe see a COVID hump or whatever. But I guess there you see sort of a July dump. I don't know. I'm not liking this chart. It's not evident to me what they're trying to show there. And then this is the cool one. So this is the metro level. So you've got all metros at 4.4% on a year on year, right? What this means is everything that's outside the metro contributes to the balance. Because remember what we said? We said at a national level, we're seeing 4.9. So now if you're getting confused with the 4.4, it means that the 0.5 is coming from non-metros, so from cities outside of these metros, so smaller cities, etc., etc. So just hear it like that. City of Cape Town, 7.4. Mangaung, 7.9. So the exercise I'm going to do today is I'm going to go on Property 24 and I'm going to look up a place in Mangaung, and then we're just going to have a bit of a chat, like what's happening in Mangaung? What's happening there in the property market? And then We've got Tshwane 3.7. We did say Tshwane was doing well. Josie 1.8. That's quite disappointing as someone who holds property there. Actually, my property is very concentrated there. eThekwini 2.1. Yeah, so again, it's a chart that's very blurry. And then that's another chart that's also blurry. And then this is nice because they split it up. So this is new builds. So properties that are sold for the first time. City of Cape Town, if you had bought a property in November 2023 for $1 million, a year later you would have sold it for 1.1 million, roughly 10%, but it's 9.1. A new build. And then you've got resold properties, City of Cape Town also 9% on that. And then you've got sectional titles, so e-complex, that's 5.7 City of Cape Town and 3.9 for Mangaung. Again, Mangaung is coming in strongly. And then standalone, City of Cape Town was 6.9. Mangaung standalones actually went down, so that's also quite interesting. City of Tshwane also coming through, quite strongly on that. And here they're basically explaining what's what, which is always good to have a look at. Right, so we're going to go to property 24 and we're going to be looking for Mangaung, right? Actually, yeah, okay, so it is a place. I know it's a municipality, but I wasn't sure if it would translate. I don't have any other filters. Yeah, so we're going to look at purchases first, and then we're going to look at new development, and then we're going to try and see if we can see for sold prices. All right, so Mangaung, there's a lot, not too many, but like a lot. So I'm going to say most recent because it gives you the most, up-to-date information. All right, so that's a standalone. That's a standalone. You've got an area called a Rocklands. Let's view one, a Rocklands. Then let's view Hillside View. This looks nice. All right, okay, we'll view those. And then let's also see if we can open trends and statistics. Then let's also see developments in Mangaung. Okay, there's no developments in Mangaung. Let's see to rent in Mangaung because we are property investors after all. All right, we're gonna look at Rawson. I love Rawson. Well, in Joburg. I love Rawson in Joburg. I don't like Rawson in Cape Town. All right. Yeah, so we've got rental. Let's go. So this is the rental, 8.9. The yard is nice and big. The house itself is quite spacious. Kitchen is nice. Ooh, it's got a nice pantry. I love good cupboard space. A bathroom, full bath. I do like that. Carpets, nothing you can do. Bright black. I love it. Okay, that's 9K. It's actually not bad. Okay. Then we've got another one for 6.5. Let's see, Plomanda. Also quite a nice kitchen, space for a double door fridge. The dream. Good cupboard space. There's an ensuite. Then there's a common bath. I like it. I would rent something like this. I summer well this kind of rental money. All right, so this is Rocklands. This is also in Bloom. Also under Mangaung. All right, this is a very basic house. The price is reasonable, 2-bed, spacious, nothing really to, write home about. Then, okay, so they're saying here, annual listings. So this is very important. They're showing you the average asking price is about 700,000, but it only sort of settles at 350. That's a big discount. Obviously, it's not 1-to-1, but it is showing you that if a thing is listed at 450, you don't have to offer at 450. You can offer maybe at 380. You get what I mean? And maybe 400 and then cap it there. If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's not the end of the world. Move on. And then you've got the monthly sales. So there's not a lot of people coming to market. That rate is always good to see. You don't want a big rate because it means people are running away from something. So why would you be buying if a lot of people are selling? Granted, some people could just be realizing, their capital and exiting the investment and realizing the capital growth. But you want to be questioning things like that. And then total on the market hasn't sort of grown over time. So that's also quite constant, about 300 monthly. And then the average asking price, again, it's nice and split by bed or number of beds. Others usually land or commercial. By bedroom count, a two bed is usually listed at 680. So if your two bed is listed at 750, then you know you've got room for negotiation. Granted, this is a very generic two bed comparison, so it might not be like for like. If that person has put in work, then it's either you're willing to pay for it or you're not. This is also quite helpful. And in sold ARF, so these are standalone, or not standalone. These are what's the name? Standalone prices, yeah. And then these are for sectional schemes, so that's also important to distinguish between the two. And then you've got the age profile. This is usually quite nice. It tells you if it's a retiree place. It tells you if it's full of like young professionals. It's always quite nice to have a look at something like that. So here it's telling me that the sellers are young people and 36 to 49, middle aged people. So young, middle aged are sort of selling, and then buyers are a combination of the same type of people. So the profile isn't really changing. And existing owners, it's young and middle aged together with oldish people. But you've also got a huge 65 plus, a retirement, quiet type of situation, which is always quite positive for an area, I think, because old people usually stay in the investments, and they take care of the area and they make sure that things are on point, and they know they have like a knowledge of if something bursts, who to go to, town council, those type of things. So it's always good to see a big of this base. But yeah, that's Mangaung in bloom. And those are the guys that were doing very well on the property retail property price index in November 2022, which just came out. This is a lovely kitchen. The pictures are horrible. Yeah, it's 44 pictures. I'm not doing all that. The pictures are horrible. 1.75 million. Just property. Please take better pictures. But yeah, that was Mangaung. Let's look at the last one. Also in Rocklands, two bed. The kitchen is a bit old. Yeah, it's a basic house. Nothing to write home about. We've got a geyser there. Yeah. 680. I don't know. Talk to me about Mangaung. Talk to me about Bloom. I might be going to Bloom. Actually, I am going to Bloom in July. So I'm excited about that. I don't know if I'll be able to move around because it's a planned trip. We have a set itinerary, so I don't know if I'm going to have flexibility. But yeah, it's going to be my first time in Bloom. I've obviously moved through Bloom, but it's going to be my first time there. So I'm quite excited about that. But yeah, tell me what's happening in Mangaung and why is property so expensive there? Well, not expensive, but why is it appreciating so much? What is happening in Mangaung? Tell us, because we don't know and we're on the outside and we're trying to figure out what's happening, what's there, what's the draw card. Am I searching incorrectly on Property 24? Because I don't think what I'm seeing here is in line with what I'm expecting and what Stats SA is seeing. So, Disecha Rongo by searching on the metro. Talk to me. Talk to me about Mangaung. Okay, let me cut the video. Thanks.